Hello Canonical team, my name is Andrew Steele and I'm here to give my presentation on Charmed Kubernetes in the style of a sales call. I chose this format because I believed it was the most realistic. I understand that we're going to be completing a lot of these sales calls via Google Meet or Zoom, so this is imitating me sharing my screen and delivering a presentation to the consumer. I hope you enjoy, and thank you so much for your time and attention. I'm going to get started now. Hey John, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today, and I know you're a very busy person, so I'll try and keep this very brief. Now, you gave me a little bit of information about your company beforehand, and I just wanted to clarify and make sure I got everything correct. So, you are a software developer, an app developer, that is looking to make the next big meetup app, correct? Understood. Got it. I understand it's a very complicated algorithm that goes into matching people together and seeing if they're compatible. So I appreciate you taking the time to review Charmed Kubernetes with me and see if it's a solution to some of the problems you're experiencing as a startup. All right, I hope so too. Let me go ahead and get started for you, John. Now, first off, I want to just let you know a little bit about what is Kubernetes. Kubernetes is an open source platform for automated deployment, scaling, and management of containerized applications and workloads. They're called charms. Now, it was originally built by Google. I'm sure you've heard of them before. And it's not only an operator that runs to keep software in line, but it's also a device to transport and act as a delivery mechanism of clusters. Now, that can make running your life and your business much, much simpler. It utilizes Juju as an operating framework, and with that, we can deploy our infrastructure at Canonical to manage the lifecycle of your components with your company and install features into your Kubernetes cluster. To give you a little bit of more information on what a cluster is, a Kubernetes cluster is a set of nodes that run containerized applications. Containerizing applications packages an app with its dependencies and some necessary services. They're more lightweight and more flexible than virtual machines. Kubernetes containerization is the utilization of the Kubernetes open source tool to automate the deployment, scaling, and management of containers without launching virtual machines for any applications. Now, even when the base OS of host systems is the same, there's slight differences among those systems in hardware or software, and they can lead to a lot of unexpected differences in behavior, causing, for example, some issues to appear in production that might not have been apparent during staging or development. And you and I both know that those can cause really big problems sometimes. Containerizing an application avoids this problem by providing a consistent and standardized environment for that application to run in. Containers encapsulate an application with all its dependencies, including system libraries, binaries, and configuration files. Now, this all-in-one packaging makes an application portable by enabling it to behave consistently across different hosts. It allows developers to write once and pretty much run almost anywhere. It sounds too good to be true, but I understand your skepticism. However, unlike virtual machines, containers, they don't actually include their own operating systems. They have different containerized applications running on a host system, and instead they share the existing OS provided by that system. Now, without the need to bundle any extra OS with the application, containers, as I mentioned earlier, are extremely lightweight and they can launch very, very quickly. Now, if you're looking to scale your application, which at the end of the day we all are, we all want growth in our businesses, more instances of a container can be added almost instantaneously. It sounds pretty good so far to meet your needs, right? I thought so. Now, some key benefits that you can expect from utilizing the software. The individual components receive revision updates dynamically. Exactly. So each individual part is kept up to date and gives the user greater security and access to features. You have increased observability for each cluster. You have access to pure upstream. And not only does it take that pure upstream, it augments it by delivering operators that add value to your team. You have a very high fidelity delivery channel for Kubernetes and more customization for each user. When you have fully curated charms that are managed properly and fully ready to go upon deployment, you're at a much bigger advantage than your competition who doesn't have that automation ready to go and doesn't have the access to some of the softwares and power that we do. Now, aside from that, you can expect automatic updates and security fixes for all core Kubernetes components. And as charms in the hub increase, so does customization and integration. You can see some of the benefits on my screen here as well. You've got cost optimization, effective IT management, lightweight design. You're really getting the most bang for your buck when you're going with us here at Canonical. So Why are companies interested in this? I would love to tell you. According to the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, CNCF, they found that 5.6 million developers now use Kubernetes, and that's a 67% increase in just 1 year. I'm expecting it to go up more and more over the years to come, and I would love for you to be a part of this family too. With Charm Kubernetes, it works well for organizations with complex applications for multiple services running in different containers. I know you're sticking to your one service where you're looking to be the next big matchmaking app, and I definitely appreciate that. But your optimization and your algorithm can be used for a lot of different applications too. Now, you match people together. I'm sure you can also match people with their advertising preferences. And then you have a really strong contender for how to advertise effectively and exactly how to maybe sell some information to Google or Facebook or people who are looking to get people connected to the best ads possible. You have a lot of different options here that you can do to use your algorithm to the fullest of its ability. Now, it's popular among large businesses for that reason, because it can increase automation and reduce IT costs, and those really eat away at the bottom line for large businesses. Now, for you as a startup, I wanted to get a little bit more in-depth specifically to your business. As a startup, it's no secret you need to innovate fast. Quick is the name of the game. You introduce new features, you collect feedback from users, and you introduce changes until you take your product to market. That's the life of a startup. But after your application gains traction, you need to be ready for explosive growth, especially with these matchmaking apps. They're blowing up the way that they are. Containerized microservices are, generally speaking, the best option for businesses that need agility and the means to scale. Now, you want to achieve all your business goals at a minimal cost to you and with as little friction and resistance as possible. The best way to do that is through Kubernetes. Using microservices instead of a huge, uncustomizable architecture allows organizations to be more flexible in development, and Kubernetes enables companies to scale easily and deploy software very quickly. Kubernetes improves resource utilization, it shortens software development cycles, and it helps integrate new employees into the team by allowing them to work on a single software. Now, you can see its self-healing and auto-scaling capabilities equal high reliability and great uptimes and response times, which ultimately enhances the user experience by improving product quality and stability. The adoption of Kubernetes is growing within small and medium tech companies, and a wide variety of applications run on Kubernetes, including video, content, mobile backend, blockchain, fintech, and crypto. I'm sure you've heard of all of those things. If you're planning to scale, which I know you are, it makes sense to invest in Kubernetes early on. Even if you're just deploying a single simple web application within the cluster, planning means building your infrastructure carefully and enabling your team to move very quickly a year or two down the line. Perfect. I hope I addressed some of your concerns regarding the small business portion. Now, I want to just give you a little bit of a full summary on everything we discussed, because I know it was a lot of information. To make it brief, Charm Kubernetes is the solution for any business, and I believe it's the solution for your business that wants to utilize a lightweight, portable, easily scalable, and fault-isolating open-source platform to deliver automation and increased security without having to use some other options that you're used to, like a virtual machine. Now, you can make your own rules and enjoy a pure upstream experience without having to worry about failure or lack of features. Charm Kubernetes packages Canonical's operational expertise alongside the same upstream binaries as Kubernetes, making it easily redeployable across public clouds, private infrastructure, and even bare metal, from your laptop straight to the lab. To implement Charm Kubernetes early on is to give yourself the ability to respond quickly in this ever-changing technological market. Now, I know you're curious about pricing, and I wasn't going to get away without discussing it. We have a few different options available, and if you're interested, I'd love to go over it with you. All right, perfect. Let me go ahead and just run through these for you. Now, first off, you have the Kubernetes Explorer package. It's a training and onboarding package that has a 3-day classroom-style hands-on training at your premises for up to 15 people that gives you the best introduction for setting up and running your own Kubernetes cluster. That's available for $19,500. But I think that you'd be a bit better suited to one of these other two options. tell you exactly why very shortly. First off, you have the Kubernetes Discoverer. You still get that 3-day classroom training, but you have access to 16 to 200 virtual machines for $45,000, which is much larger than having access to just your own single cluster. You are planning on growing exponentially. I hope you do. I wish you the best success. And the best way to set yourself up for that success is to have the ability to create more clusters and create more options for customization. Now, the final package, which I think would be perfect for you based on the size of your organization that we discussed, is the Kubernetes Discoverer Plus. You can make between 12 and 2,000 nodes, all individual, customized, all specified to meet your exact needs. You also get GPU acceleration, you have a private registry, you get additional security through Aqua or Prisma Cloud, which I think is really the best bet for you since you're going to be handling a lot of very sensitive user information. And you get customized architecture and even offline deployment. That's available for $95,000. Now, with that, I understand that sometimes you want your team to focus more on consuming the Kubernetes. You might not necessarily want them spending time creating them, and for that I completely understand. We do have an option available for that as well. Now, we will manage your Kubernetes for you. We can give you a fast path to production. We can handle everything on our end, and that's at a very reasonable price. So for per node is how we charge those at the fully managed stage. You can get a physical management of the Kubernetes node. That's $4,380 a year. Now there's also other options like physical, but on Bookstack that's available for $2,190 a year. Or you have the virtual management of the fully functional Kubernetes nodes, which is $1,460 a year. So you have a lot of different options and a lot of different varieties, but specifically what you're getting is a lot of bang for your buck. Give you some examples. You get 24/7 phone and web ticket support. I understand when you're starting out with these new softwares, it can be really frustrating when you're not helped out adequately, and we understand. We make it our mission to make sure all of our customers are fully taken care of and fully informed in this process, and that's why we have that 24/7 phone and ticket support online. You have industry-leading cloud operations tooling through Ubuntu, Juju, LXD. You have monitoring and logging of all your needs and services. You have landscape management, live patch access, an extensive knowledge base from the Canonical team here, high availability support, remote operations, smart alerts, proactive monitoring, and should you need it, there's even a disaster recovery feature which protects your most sensitive data and stops you from having to start over on square one. Now, I understand I just gave you a lot of information at once, and I want to give you the chance to ask me some questions, but first, I'd like to ask you something. After everything we've discussed, are you interested in a platform that gives you pure upstream, more customization, and more freedom to run your business the way you want to? That's what I thought, John. Now, let's go ahead and move forward and get your package created, and I'll just get the ball rolling on finalizing this paperwork. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. All right, John, you too. Thank you. All right, so that was my mock sales presentation for customer John. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and if you need anything else additional from me, please let me know. I'll be looking forward to speaking with the rest of your team on Tuesday, and then shortly after I have another interview scheduled with you all. So thank you, and hope you have a great day.